So there's been a lot of speakers obviously touching on the theme to abound. Just like the word, kind of the idea, the concept. And if you could put up my first little slide, I'm going to talk about having a lifestyle and where God like abounds. I was low-key confused. Like, you know when you hear like preachers, you hear pastors, speakers talking about the same thing. And like if you don't understand the word, you're like low-key lost throughout the entire thing. So I was like, we need to do some research, like some deep digging, because there's no way you're going to catch me up here like not even knowing what I'm talking about. So I looked up the definition. That way I can share it with you guys if you guys are kind of in the dark about it. So to abound means to occur in excess. So in great quantities, to flourish, to thrive, even to infest. And I want to also talk about the word lifestyle, because every one of us can interpret words in different ways based off of what we've been through. And so I wanted to kind of have a foundation of what lifestyle technically means. It's habits, attitudes, and moral standards. Now, I'm going to start with the Word of God, of course. I'm going to be reading out of Matthew 13, 31 through 32. It's going to be talking about the mustard seed. Have you guys ever heard this story? Anybody? A little whoop whoop, a little bit of no. Okay. So I'm going to start with 31, and I'm just going to read to 32. It's not that long. It says, he told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches. The reason why I chose this like specific verse, a specific passage, story, if you will, is I feel like it's something I can relate to, because sometimes I'll read the Bible and it's like another language to me, low-key. Like I'll be like, what? Like, have you ever read something and like you see words, but you're just like, what? You know what I mean? Like someone's talking about it and they're like, did you feel that? And I'm like, honestly, no. like King James just doesn't speak to me that way. So I was like, you know what? I like this passage. Like it kind of, makes me shake a little bit. So the context of this passage, so we're not just talking about how it makes us feel, we're going to actually dig into what it is supposed to mean, is Jesus had gone out like first thing in the morning. He was constantly out talking to people. First thing in the morning, he goes out, already draws a crowd. Poor guy's just sitting down, and people are just like, come, feed me, feed my soul. So, he's just chilling there, big and back. And all these people come, and instead of being like, you're a sinner, your mom needs work, you know what I mean? He sits back and he's like, I'm gonna talk to you about parables, right? He's just throws out wisdom with like metaphors, a whole bunch of like stories. And then the disciples are like, Jesus, like, why do you talk to them in parables? Like, why can't you just tell them like straight up? Like just tell them what they need to hear. Like, like out of all people, you know exactly what they need to hear. And he was like, people who want to hear, people who want to listen, people who want to seek truth, they'll hear my words and come back for more. They'll hear my words and look for meaning, look for depth. But other people who are like hear my words, they'll be like, cool, and just keep living their life the same way. So that's the context behind this, like specific parable is he was giving this so the people who wanted to know the truth, the people who actually wanted to make changes in their life, they would actually do so. They would take action. And I wanted to focus on the mustard seed because to me, little things have a lot of power. Have you guys ever had like a really hard day? Like you are looking busted, like everything's going wrong, and then someone just like does one little thing to like set you over. They're like, hey, you look kind of tired. You're just like dead. You know what I mean? You're just like, that's it. Like, I'm throwing the towel. Like, I'm done. College is not for me. I'm dropping out. Mom, get the car. Like, it's just too much, right? Like, little things go so far. And so I wanted to, like, highlight on that because I feel like it's relatable. Yes. Yes. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Chill out. Okay. So I actually did research on the seed because I don't want you guys to think I'm just, coming up here and talking about whatever I want to talk about. With Logan. So I did research, and I found out a lot of things about mustard seeds. Things that I found out is they are 0.039 to 0.079 inches. They're big fellows. They come from really harsh environments. So they're from the hood of plants. You know what I'm saying? They come from really harsh environments. They've evolved to grow without a lot of water, which is in my opinion, which is really amazing because what do seeds need? Sunlight, dirt, and water. They can withstand extreme heat, and it takes years for them to grow. It's bad enough, you might lose it. You're over here trying to plant it in the ground, oh my God, where'd it go? Here's another one. They take years to grow. They are a long, needy seed. And when I think about a lifestyle that is explained, or when people see somebody's lifestyle, they say, wow, God really abounds in their life. I can really see God is just intertwined in everything. I really think about this small concept. Now when we talk about mustard seeds and what they are, facts. For those of y'all who cannot keep plants alive, this is for you. Because it is a struggle. This is what you don't do to a mustard seed. You don't forget to water it. Easy, but also something you easily can forget. Don't plant it in soil with weeds. Kind of common sense, but like I said, it's easy to forget. And you got to prune off the dead branches. So, when it's growing, when the season, when it's starting to shift from harvest to a different time, there's going to be dead branches. There's going to be time where you need to prune. So you got to remember, cut off the dead branches. Now, if I think about myself in a parable, because I like to put myself, in the shoes of whatever I'm reading, that way I can actually relate to it, visualize what I'm trying to understand. I would put myself as the farmer. So in the parable, I would be the farmer. My life would be the land, and God would be the little tiny mustard seed. And when I think about this mustard seed, I'm it's kind of humble. Because it's this small. But mustard seeds can get to about 20 feet tall. That's a big fella. like I said earlier, that's a big fella. And God could have made a mustard seed to where it started out to where it could be. Because then you could automatically see the potential. Imagine a 20-foot seed. Man, if someone told me, I'm going to need you to plant this mustard seed, and I said, where's that? And they said, over there. I'd be what? My 5'5" self is going to plant this big mustard seed into the ground? I would just check out. That would just not work. But I feel God is like that. He comes in these little forms. He whispers, he nudges, he politely will ask you. He's not going to knock at your door and be hey, what's up? I'm God. First of all, I don't even know how that. He probably wouldn't even knock. He'd probably just blow the roof off and be that's good. And then he'd be change your ways. You're bitter. Put me into your life. I'd be what? I'd probably faint and be oh my, you freak out. I would not know what to do. And I really respect him for that. How can you be the God of all creation, and you knock, you whisper, you nudge? You ask for permission. That's why he did not make me Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Because I'd be that would, yeah, besides the point. We're going to move on. He allows us to choose him. He allows us to kind of fall, stumble every now and then, deny it, shy away, play ourselves. I don't need him. When in all reality, he's exactly what we're supposed to be looking for. See, if God was this mustard seed, we should be planting him in every single part of our life. That's Bible, We should be getting a glimpse of him in our morning. And that doesn't have to be this huge 20-foot seed. That can just be, you know what, God, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to just recite one verse every day. I'm going to discipline myself. Like, I'm going to really dwell in your word. I'm going to water the seed. I'm going to do it every day. And then after doing it every day, I'm going to invite someone to do it with me. And then after that, we're going to talk about how your word actually applies to our life. We're going to talk about how we can look more like you every day. It doesn't take this huge shift. Sometimes, like, it really makes me sad that people think you have to leave the country to prove that you're a Christian. Yeah. You got to go over here and heal, like, crippled's leg, and then all of a sudden you're welcomed into the kingdom of God. I don't think he intended it to be like that. I, like, really deeply believe God just wants to dwell in your life, but in little ways. Like, when you're going through it, he's supposed to be the one that keeps you from falling over the edge. Because when you plant him in little parts of your life, mustard seeds, they're referred to as weeds. Because once they grow, they spread. Like, they spread and they spread rapidly. They spread throughout everywhere. That's how God should be. You plant him here, you plant him there, you plant him here, you plant him there. And eventually, he's going to abound in your life. There's going to be an abundance of him. He's going to infest every single part of your life. And believe it's easier said than done, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just a safe place of talking about what we should be doing as people, but what is really hard. What people tell us to do, what preachers talk about, but man, like, that takes work. That takes a lot of work. But if you think about it, we already abound in things abound in our life in different ways, right? Sometimes we have negativity, plant it somewhere. Sometimes we have doubt, plant it somewhere. We got a stank face, plant it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we are already allowing things to infest our soil. We're allowing things to just root in us. And, like, the process of a mustard seed, the process of, like, planting, when you plant something, you have to water it. When you plant something, you have to pay attention to it. You have to revisit it. Now, one thing we have to be really, really cautious of is assuming that we have to have good soil. Now, we think about this mustard seed. We think about God. He's not looking for the nutritious soil sold in a bag at Home Depot, okay? No, he's not looking for that. He knows your soil is dusty. Like, he knows your soil has weeds. He knows your soil has gone through it. But a mustard seed can withstand heat. A mustard seed is from the worst of circumstances. So when people say, like, who are you to say that God is abounding in your lifestyle when you're from this? Turn to this passage. God is my mustard seed. And being a person, being a Christ follower, I'm going to read this parable again to kind of talk about, like, how it's affected me when I was studying it, when I was trying to ask God, like, what should I talk about? It says, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants. Becomes a tree so that the birds come and perch in its branches. When, like, I thought about this and I reread it, I was like, man, like, that's so relatable. I don't want a God who only wants me if I'm perfect. I don't want a God who only wants me if I come from a good background. I don't want a God who wants me because I shine all the time, because I'm really good at watering, because I'm really balanced. He wouldn't want any of us at all. And a lot of the times, like, I feel like people want to talk about the Christian walk. They want to talk about having a good lifestyle, but they forget about the realism. Now, having dirty soil, people forget about what that means. Oh yeah, every now and then I'm in a bad mood. No, if we're going to be real, if I can be real, having dirty soil is, I struggle with pornography. Having dirty soil, not me, I'm just saying in generally. But having dirty soil is, you know what, like, I talk like a sailor. Having dirty soil is every now and then, my thoughts are nothing but holy. I don't feel like reading the Bible is my thing. King James is not my friend. He does not speak my language. That's having dirty soil. This is the good news. If we want to have a lifestyle where God is abounding, where he is present in every single area, we have to understand that there are steps, there are processes, and it takes years. To get this mustard seed into our life, this is going to take years. A lot of the times, what we expect, oh, it's the good news. It's going to all be fixed in like a day. No one wants to hear that. That's why people shut down. That's why no one wants to come to Christ. That's why no one wants to knock on the church doors and say, hey, y'all, I'm broken. Will you take me? They say, no, you're dusty. Your soil, it's not good for harvest. Speaking up here, I want you guys to understand we should be standing next to each other and empowering each other to place God in different areas of our lives. Because a lot of the times coming to Christian campuses, going to Christian churches, instead of coming shoulder by shoulder, instead of coming by each other, we just choose to look at each other's land and be like, so where's the mustard seed at? I don't see God abounding in your life. I don't see an abundance of God in your life. We should be coming by each other and letting each other know it's going to take time. This is going to hurt. We got to prune branches. We got to water. This is going to take work. But we're not here to be perfect. We're not here for God to remind us every day how much he needs us. We're here to ask God, to plant God, to go through the process, to do the pruning, to eventually get to a place where you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to be like, oh man, like, is God in my education right now? Is God in the midst of my relationships right now? Is God with me? It's not going to be a question. It's going to be so overwhelming. He's going to infest you so much, you won't even have to worry about it. I feel like that's the point. That's what our Christian walk should be. That's what our lifestyle should be. Addressing the fact that, yeah, we come from bad places, but that's okay. Yeah, we need some pruning. Who doesn't? Now, I actually have a piece I want to share with you guys because when I thought about Jesus and how he would share with people his parables, I was like, okay, let me think about that. Like modern day, that would low-key be like spoken word. So he was like sitting, and just like spoken word all the time. And so I was like, well, might as well be like Jesus and bring a piece that actually resembles what I want everyone to understand, what I want everyone to actually like walk away with. You guys don't have to have your eyes open. You guys can close your eyes, feel whatever you want. I just feel like God allows us to express ourselves in different ways, and there's beauty in that. So, I am a farmer. You are a seed, small and unnoticed. I'm easily deceived. I underestimate your goodness and your grace. You look at my soul, my rocky, dry soil, overflowing with bitterness, unforgiveness, rocks, weeds, and rage. Yet you allow me to plant you in my life. 1 root, 2, 3, then 4. You expose all of my weaknesses straight down to my core. I expect growth without pain, sun without rain. I want results with no work. I want reconciliation without uncomfortable frustration. Your roots, they spread. Your trunk, it rises. Your leaves reach towards the horizon. Now God abounds in my life, overflows and flourishes, because I chose to plant a mustard seed and nurture it. So I want you guys to really think about your lifestyle, and not in a bad way. But what are the things that make you happy? What are the things you do that give you passion? What makes your engine turn? What makes your heart pound? Plant some God in that. But slowly. This is not a message of let's change, that way we can all be better by tomorrow. No, this is going to take time. But it's worth it. And you're worth it. God sees everybody in your pain, in your bitterness, in your weakness. And he still says, plant me, take me, use me. That's crazy to me. If I created the entire universe and I looked at me and said, I want to be a part of you, I'd be shook. I'd be like, ooh, she got that dusty soil. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't spend no time on me. Yeah, he does. Day in and day out. If you guys want to go to the prayer room and kind of just have your own space to kind of think about things, it's open. It's there for you. I'm just going to pray over us, and then we're going to be led into a time of worship. God, it's me again. I'm back. I pray that every person here, they understand how much they matter. They understand how much they're worth. That when they wake up in the morning, they understand that they are literal heirs of a king, the King of Kings, the one who created everything. That there's no hesitation in how far they can go, how much they deserve, how valued and loved they are. That when they wake up in the morning, they feel you, they see you. I also pray that they choose to have little disciplines in their life. Whether it just be praying in the morning every now and then, turning into memorizing scripture every now and then, turning into feeding the homeless every now and then. I pray that they choose to plant you in every single aspect of their life. That it gets to a point where they are overflowing. You are infesting all that they are. I pray for this campus that it be a safe place to talk about brokenness, a safe place to talk about how perfect we are not, to be real, that as Christians, to acknowledge the truth and not to bring each other down. We should be a family. We should be rising together. Thank you. In my name, amen.